sets some precedent to our surrounding counties to make Paulding County Animal Control and county look very good. Let me be clear, this number has been achieved by the hard work and the dedication of a few volunteers and supporters who are reaching out and working with the community and with rescues to get our cats and our dogs at our shelter into homes. While we've been soliciting changes from you, we've been achieving this impressive feat on our own. We have no budget, no resources, save our own, and yet we as volunteers and supporters have achieved it. Think how much more could be done with your help. In January, I gave you a booklet called The Economic Benefits to No Sale. In it, a study was reported cited that there is no correlation between budgets and save rates, but the important factor is desire to save. After seeing the life saving that we have done without a budget, I decided to review some of Paulding's past kill rates in comparison to the budget to see if I could find the same trends in Paulding and prove the study. Since I was looking at only January through April of 2013, I was consistent regarding the previous years. In 2013 so far, we've achieved an average kill rate of 21%. The budget for 2012 was 5.3% less than this year, so you would expect a comparable kill rate. However, this time last year, the kill rate was averaging 46%. We didn't have half the budget, but we did still more than double the animals, 421 in comparison to this year's 157. Paulding County had a severe budget cut in 2012. In 2011, the budget was $613,397, and there was one additional staff member on hand. Since 2011 had the highest budget of the past 3 years, you'd expect a greater save rate in the shelter that year. That didn't happen. The kill rate was actually 1% worse in 2012 than when there was 17% budget cut, averaging 47% in January to April. Let's look at 2010, which was under the previous administration's part of the year. The kill rate, the budget was pretty much the same in 2010 as it was in 2011, only a $264 difference, and yet in 2010 the kill rate was only 38% in April average. This means that 9% more animals were saved with only $264 more dollars. It's also important to note that these averages we're looking at are January to April, the slow season. The average kill rate for 2010 worsened. While they were at 38% in April, the year finished up with a 51% average kill rate. 2011 continued to increase, ending the year at 56%, and a 17% budget cut still saw 2012 ending with 54% average kill rate. Paulding's own numbers agree with the study that there is no correlation between budgets and save rates, but a desire to save is what's important. Currently, Paulding has shown that we find killing more than half the animals acceptable. This is our status quo. We're like the student that found out how much work they have to do to keep the C average, and then they do that much. Only for the record, 46% isn't half. It means we failed more than half the time. Live animals bring money into the community. Dead ones cost the community money. So what am I saying? In order for us to achieve the recent 17% kill rate, we, the volunteers and supporters, have called on rescues all over Georgia and beyond. In the month of April, I drove nearly 700 miles in my personal vehicle in the work of saving Paulding shelter cats. During the past few months, more than 170 animals have passed through my phone, email, and at times my vehicle and home. And I'm not the only one. There are a number of volunteers and supporters who can tell similar stories. What this means is that we took our animals to other counties, and now their economies can benefit from the businesses that pets bring, and Paulding will not, because Paulding didn't provide for our pets, we took them to communities that would. Paulding, however, did receive the cost avoidance of killing and disposing of these pets. Now for the 5th month I stand before you. I've argued facts and costs, I've shown examples of other communities and the improvements they've made. I've implored your compassion and asked you to identify the county's homeless pets with each of your own pets. I've warned you of kitten and puppy season that occurs during the summer months and the devastation that is already beginning in summer. And still nothing is being done, no changes have taken place. We've given numerous examples of life-saving methods that have been put in place in other counties and municipalities. These new methods are saving lives and saving taxpayers money. You've been sent a video about New Hampshire and how they're scheduling owner surrenders. You've been told about Gwinnett County, how they're charging owner surrender fees and doing off-site adoptions. You've been aware of Spartanburg, South Carolina Animal Control and how they have launched a tremendously successful trap member return program. And all of these are supported by the communities they serve. Something could have been done. In the past 5 months, I've been addressing you all. The pet retention plan could have been put in place. It hasn't. We can say that we are a poor community and that we don't have as big a budget as other counties, but we have less people and fewer animals. We have a much lower intake than many other counties. And as I've shown you, there's no correlation between the budget and the number of animals that can be saved, and in the end, excuses are just that. Something must be done. Your community is reaching out to you in an unprecedented way. We've been assisting Paulding Animal Control, and by doing so, we've changed their success rate to a palpable figure, or more palpable. We've also saved Paulding County tax dollars in this endeavor. But still, we the volunteers are the ones looking sadly at faces that die who continue to do nothing. Do not wait until our finances, our vehicles are broken. So tonight, for all the shelter pets past and present, for the homeless pet supporters in Paulding, I stand here and say, please do something. We are your constituents. We're reaching out to you. Reach back to us before it's too late. I'll email you the PowerPoint.
Thank you, Ms. Mann. Ma'am, before you leave, I'd like to say something. For one, I'd like to thank you and all the volunteers that volunteer at the shelter. You come up here month after month, and I don't know that we've actually really thanked you for what you're doing. My theory is in life, everybody has something that's a passion for them that they love. For me, I enjoy being a foster parent most of the time. And I think when you have a passion for something and you love it, that's what you go out and you do, and you do that well. Okay? I love animals. I have a passion for animals. It's a little bit different than the way you guys do. So I thank you and all your volunteers for what you do. Because if we didn't have people like you that are doing what you're doing, we wouldn't be getting what we're getting. If we didn't have foster parents, if we didn't have people that are dedicated to scouts and sports and picking up our roads and cleaning up our community, it's volunteerism in the community. And I don't think we've taken the time to thank you for what you do. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank each and every one of you. Along with that, you have come to us, and I know that Commissioner Carmichael's worked on some things, he brought some things to me. And not to step on anybody's toes, commissioners, or anybody else, staff, or anybody else here, but I think sometimes we, as government, we drag our feet, and we take too long to do things. We've been working on a golf cart ordinance that we're pretty close to, but we've been looking at that golf cart ordinance for 2 years. And I think what you've told us is you don't have 2 years. You need some help. And although a lot of your ideas may be thinking outside of the box for somebody like myself or these other commissioners, I have checked into what you're doing. I have checked into some of the things that you told us about, and it does work in other communities. And I think what we need to do is we need to sit down, we need to put some things into action, we need to make some things work. I think the citizens have a lot of great ideas. Myself, a few years ago when I was a citizen, I thought I had some great ideas. And when you come to the Board of Commissioners, sometimes those ideas may get shot down. And I don't mean that to step on anybody's toes here, but I think sometimes we don't listen to the citizens about what they've got going on. And it may not be important to me, this certain whatever, it may not be important to somebody else, but it's important to the citizen that's out there volunteering. It's important to the people that are doing it. And it's really important in our community, and I'm thankful that you're doing it. So I'd love, commissioners, for us to sit down. I know, Mr. Carmichael, you've been working on some things, but I want us to do something for these volunteers. I want us to, you've been talking, I want us to put something into action. And there's some things that you've asked for us to do that I thought, well, that's kind of far out there. I don't know about that. But at the same time, what I know that we're doing right now is nothing. And so why not try that that's kind of far out there? And especially if we have the volunteers. And I don't want us to make it so hard on the volunteers to volunteer. A volunteer job should be, I've always said you can't fire a volunteer if they're not good at one thing and find something else for them to do. And I think that's what we need to do. So thank you for what you do. I would like to see this commission sit down and talk to y'all and get something going, and I don't think it needs to take long to do that. Okay? Really?
Yeah.